The Gospel of Jesus Christ according to St. Matthew. Matthew chapter 6 verses 1 to 6, 16 to 18. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Be careful not to perform your righteous deeds before others to be seen by them, otherwise you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give alms, do not blow a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets to win the praise of others. Amen, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your almsgiving may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. When you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, who love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on street corners so that others may see them. Amen, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. When you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites. They neglect their appearance so that they may appear to others to be fasting. Amen, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you may not appear to others to be fasting, but only to your Father who is hidden, and your Father who sees what is hidden will reward you." A personal reflection on the Gospel of Matthew chapter 6 verses 1 to 6, 16 to 18. In silence, the Father still sees me. Dear friend, amid the noise of life, where every word, action, and even thought seems subject to measurement and judgment, it is easy to forget what is truly meaningful. We live in a world where personal image is polished to perfection, and the gaze of admiration from others is often treated as a sweet reward. But have you ever asked yourself, if all those eyes turned away, if no one saw or praised me, would I still find value in who I am? Today's gospel is like a refreshing breeze that clears the dust of performance and invites us, gently and profoundly, to live with a hidden, humble, and honest heart, for it is in that quiet place within us that God dwells. 1. Do good not to be seen. Jesus said, "Be careful not to perform your righteous deeds before others to be seen by them." It's easy to hear, but difficult to live out, isn't it? We all like to be recognized. A compliment, a nod, a look of admiration. These can feel like fuel for doing good. But Jesus is not rejecting good deeds. He's inviting us to examine our motivation. Do we act out of love, or out of a desire to be praised? There's a story from the Talmud, a collection of ancient Jewish teachings. One day at the temple, a wealthy man arrived with a golden chest full of coins for the offering. He walked slowly and confidently as the crowd looked on in admiration. Shortly after, a poor widow came quietly and placed 2 small coins, everything she had, into the box. No one noticed her, but God did. Jesus would later tell a similar story and say, "This poor widow has put in more than all the others, because God doesn't measure the amount, but the heart." So when you do something good, whether it's giving someone a meal, offering a smile, or speaking a kind word, don't dismiss it as small. If it comes from a sincere heart, it is one of the most beautiful prayers you can offer to God. 2. Pray in the quiet. How many times have we prayed with restless hearts? We may say many words, but fail to truly listen. We recite prayers, but sometimes just to fulfill a duty. Jesus said, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret." He wasn't dismissing public prayer, but reminding us that true prayer is a meeting, heart to heart, with God. And such a meeting needs silence. I once read about a hermit who lived in the forest for many years. Someone asked him, "Don't you feel lonely?" He smiled and said, "I am never alone. My Father is always with me, in the silence." Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the fullness of God's presence. In that silence, you can breathe freely and tell the Father things you've never dared to tell anyone, your fears, your weaknesses, your wounds, your failures. The Father won't judge or scold you. He listens, and He heals. 3. Fasting reveals love. Many people think fasting means simply going without food or giving something up. But as Jesus said, fasting is not about showing off our piety. It is about purifying our hearts to love God and others more fully. It is deeply moving to recall the story of Saint Francis of Assisi. During his times of fasting, he not only gave up food but also refused praise. He said, "I fast so that my soul may hunger for God." Fasting is not about getting thinner, it's about becoming lighter in spirit. It's about letting go of the superficial, so that the heart can return to what is essential. And if you fast quietly, out of love for God, then even if no one else notices, your Father in heaven does. Once, in a catechism class for children, I asked, "If you help someone but don't tell anyone, do you feel sad?" A little girl, about 8 years old, replied, "No, I don't feel sad, because I think God sees, and that's enough." I cried hearing that simple answer. Oh, if only adults could keep that kind of heart. 4. The Father sees, understands, and rewards. 3 times in today's Gospel, Jesus repeats the same phrase. Your Father who sees what is hidden will reward you. He sees, He understands, and He will respond. No act of love, however small, is ever forgotten in God's eyes. No prayer is lost in the vast silence. No sacrifice is meaningless if it comes from an honest heart. When you help someone in secret, God sees. When you forgive while your heart still hurts, God understands. When you whisper prayers in the dark, with tearful eyes, God is there. Do not fear the hidden life, for in what is hidden, love grows. And in what is hidden, your reward is being prepared, not gold or silver, but peace, joy, and a love that can never be taken away. 5. Be a child, not a performer. Dear friend, our world often pressures us to perform, to always appear strong, successful, admirable, but before God, you don't have to perform. You are invited simply to be yourself, a child. And as a child, you don't need to earn love. You only need to remain in it. There's a short poem I love. I am not the strong one. I am the one who fell before the Father. But in that falling, I found His hand reaching out, never to be withdrawn. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be honest. And when you live with a quiet, sincere heart, that is when God's light shines most clearly through your life. Final word. Today, if you feel forgotten, remember, the Father still sees you. If your good deeds go unnoticed, remember, the Father keeps record. If your prayer feels empty, remember, the Father still listens. If you are silently enduring something painful, remember, the Father is holding you. You are not alone. You don't need to prove yourself. You only need to be.